Good evening. Welcome to this incredible Third Friday Salon at home, featuring Peggy Dobreer, Brandon Constantine, and Betty Chavez. So, I thought that I was past. I thought my heart was cold until you came at last, love, making the world to gold. I wanted to be near you, but never even dared to hope one day I'd hear you tell me that you cared. I'm falling in love again, never wanted to. What am I to do? I can't help it. Love's always been my game, play it how it may. I was made that way, I can't help it. Men cluster to me like moths around a flame, but if their wings burn, I know I'm not to blame. I'm falling in love again, never wanted to. What am I to do? I can't help it. Please welcome Betty Chavez.
In the moments when I cannot see you, in the darkness of the in-between, oh love, my faraway loves, tell me what your eyes have seen. Over wires, over miles of airspace, over pretty pulsing beams of light. Oh love, my faraway love, can you hear my song tonight? When the ribbon of the road ties you to time, and the distances between stretch and unwind, there is still an unbroken thread between your heart and mine. I will reach across the asphalt runways, I will hold you till the sky turns white. Oh love, my faraway love, meet me in your dreams tonight. When the ribbon of the road ties you to time, and the distances between stretch and unwind, there is still an unbroken thread between your heart and mine. I will reach across the asphalt runways, I will hold you till the sky turns white. Oh love, my faraway love, meet me in your dreams tonight. Oh love, my faraway love, meet me in your dreams tonight. Ooh, love, my faraway love, meet me in your dreams tonight.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Betty Chavez. Okay, so now let's welcome Stephen Rains.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. I'm so excited to start this night off with poetry, and I'm so excited to hear Peggy read from her collection again. and see Brendan, who I saw earlier. Him and his family have been in my thoughts all week long. So I've been thinking about you, and I'm sorry for your loss, which is all of our loss. So I'm sorry about that. And so I'm here to talk about my brand new collection that just came out on Tuesday from City Lights. It's called A Quilt for David. And I'm going to read just one poem from this book. And I felt like you're the kind of crowd that would appreciate a pantoum. So I chose the pantoum in the book, which, you know, has repeating lines to it. The collection is about an incident that happened in 1991 where 8 people accused their dentist of infecting them with HIV. And I thought about this situation 10 years ago, and I started researching it, and it soon became an obsession for me, trying to figure out what happened in that dental office. How did these 8 patients get AIDS from their dentist? I didn't understand it. And so I just kept researching and investigating, trying to find an answer. And not only do I think I came about finding some answers, I found out a lot more about our culture, about our media, and also how other people can rewrite our history and change our legacy. And so that's what this book is about. And it's really kind of a story about gay villainization. So this poem is about David, who is represented in the title, and that's the dentist. 2 years, 10 months, and 29 days from diagnosis to death, David kept practicing. Retired at 40 to die. From diagnosis to death, was scared of small town rumors and small town mentality. Retired at 40 to die. He used an alias at doctor's office hours away from his home. Was scared of small town rumors and small town mentality. David said hiding his diagnosis was lonely and isolating. He used an alias at doctor's offices hours away from his home. Kimberly was secretly sexually active, points her finger at David. David said hiding his diagnosis was lonely and isolating. She points a finger at him. From diagnosis to death was 2 years, 10 months, and 29 days. Thank you. So the book release party is sponsored by Skylight, and it's going to be on the 2nd, on a Saturday. And I found an outdoor venue in Hollywood. It's St. Felix, so it's a bar, meaning we can all drink and listen to poetry, and it should be a really big fun party. So in the chat, I linked the Facebook invite page and also gave all the information. All of you are welcome to attend. I would love to see your faces there, and so many people I know already. So please come out. It would be great to see you and celebrate the book. And thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. So now let's welcome Janet Fitch.
Well, I do a morning meditation and free write with Peggy. She offers it every weekday morning, and I've been doing it since she started offering it before the election, because we were just jumping out of our skins, and it was something I could do kind of to nail down the mornings, have something reliable. And I have come up with some actual poems, or sort of. So I thought I would read this one. She's doing a chapbook of contributors from her classes and from the morning slow lightning, it's called, from the slow lightning meditation and writing prompt. So here's one of them. Who will carry me over the threshold? Who will pick me up and place me on my feet, saying, this is your new home, your new bed? Reluctant, I stand here looking back like they told me not to, though I'm ready to cross, ready, not ready, never ready, until a kid comes up behind me and shoves me into the pool. Come on already, people are waiting. Sometimes it's the wind knocking my hat off, so I run to fetch it. Sometimes the bridegroom takes me by the hand. Sometimes it's a fire behind me and arms laden with what I can carry, I jump. Sometimes I step through an absolute darkness because it's time. The way a child feels the walls squeezing, unbearable, forcing it into the world. Thank you. Should I do another one, short one? I have a short one. This one is called 2 hours since the party, 6 hours until dawn. Let the whipping commence, the self-flagellation, carrying that cross around town, the chains and thorns, hair shirt, itchy skin roll. Let the insomnia commence, the second thoughts and thirds, the fourth no better. Let the agony commence, set sail in the tempest, in the teapot, hours until dawn. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we're moving on to the features. So Peggy Dobreer is a former dancer, poet, poetry curator, and advocate for experiential education. More about Peggy on her website, and maybe she can also tell us more this evening. And the one and only Brandon Constantine.
So yeah, we're going to try to braid. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming, and sorry for the late start. Computers, right? I have such a lousy connection at home. I thought, come over here. We did the same thing. Elena, thank you very much for having us tonight. You know, the Rap Saloon is a home of mine, and I miss it so much. And Elena is my moon sister and Rap Saloon sister, and we have so much fun. And so in your honor, I brought rose petals to cover the floor with today. Yeah, I just also want to thank Glassler Press. So the thing about this book is that it was really written out of confusion and naivety. And it's hard for me to think of it as a full book. It's kind of like, you know, it's that manuscript you put in the bottom of the drawer and then go back to it in 3 or 4 months and see what you've got, except it's already published. And so it's really a precursor to a longer collection. And so I just want to invite you to remember that. So Brendan, you're going to start, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then we'll just kind of go back and forth. He'll read a couple, then I'll read a couple.
Hi. This first poem plays off of the old expression, the elephant in the room. And of course, the elephant in the room is the thing that you're not supposed to be talking about, but about which everyone is aware. The room in the elephant. We couldn't stop talking about it, how big it was and comfortable. Who doesn't wish their own room was so orderly, so keen to navigate? My chair was deep, the arms wide in velvet. I thought I'd never get out, but it was easy. The floors, the dark wood of the table were polished almost to water. Everyone was laughing, but couldn't say why. It simply felt right, like the painting on the ceiling of a market in Pompeii. There's light from somewhere. Now does that seem strange because there were no windows. I don't remember lamps or candles. It was as if everything cast a luster, including us. It's even possible our eyes were closed, that the room put itself in mind, and we could just see.
All right, let's see how this works. So I have a couple of elephant poems, oddly enough, in this book about the pandemic, because elephants really know how to respect the dead. And I was thinking about that, how awkward our ability to celebrate life was during the pandemic. And it reminded me of this poem. So I put it in the book. This one was actually written before the pandemic, but it just seemed perfect for the pandemic. Mourning the dead. The bones of saints should not be buried, but poured over like an elephant clan, gristled with the charge of a herdsman, a fallen skeleton, dried gray hide, black eye, weight of trunk and tusk, the carriage of head and horn, of ears furrowing, hooves closing in on the remains of the perished calf. It is the lady herd that comes first, the milk of primary knowing. On a womb lowered knee, the matriarch scans the field, herd now cloven, now severed upon them. What is to be known, asked, measured? What sway might come to dance this sacred interrogation? What was made here, fouled from the pack? No packed burial, no pyre, only the passing of winds, saints delivered unto the sky, set open for fouling weather, for flood or snowfall, parchment or silt. Saints cannot be left to die still. Their task is their nature. No question can be left. The elephants scan the fallen, the drawn away. They take their time. It takes as long as it takes. 3 days, maybe more. And so there's one more about elephants. I'm going to read one more.
Go for it.
Because I can. But, you know, elephants do that. They stay with their fallen for quite some time, and it's thought that they are getting information from the ancestry. It's really interesting. This is called The Elephant in the Tent. And, you know, I brought this poem in because I was thinking about how easily swayed we are into certain behaviors. And that was very apparent during the pandemic. The Elephant in the Tent. When you say what you say with your buttons undoing for pennies on the dollar, the ringmaster will suddenly spit his teeth from atop the only elephant in the tent. When she folds, she dies. The gray calf given the name Tobias is taken out and staked to the ground by a chain, half a sentence in length, twice the price of admission. But if he strays from the stake, it tugs at his ankle, leaving scars the size of the Kalahari. By the time his weight is vast enough to unstake the spike, he conditions that he hasn't the strength to free himself. So instead, remains a prisoner of his own deception until, rused in lock and chain, he's led back to the tent, decked in frills and palanquin, to let clowns run ramshot around his trunk, just like they did his mother. Thank you.
That was awesome. This is called a controlled substance.
Brendan, let us see you.
Oh, sorry.
Can you
All
send
right.
it yourself, Brendan? Thank you. There we go.
No problem.
We have to adjust.
A controlled substance. My brother is late again. Somehow the glass of water by his plate, the fact that we filled it without him, makes him all the later. Dad tells us to start eating, says there's nothing worse than cold fish. But suddenly no one can find a rhythm. We fumble our napkins like we've never seen them before, like it's just occurred to us we're in the wrong house, aren't even a family, but 4 people kicked off the same bus for being vulgar. So much is worse than cold fish, I think. The flowers on the table, the bubbles in my brother's glass, the size of our knives, all terrible. There must be traffic, my mother says, and I understand it as a command. Yes, there must be. My brother deserves a good reason, not the only reason, that he is deep in his bed, as if at the ocean floor, where it is still the first night on earth, and whatever moves there must grow its own light.
Wow. Woo! Can I applaud?
Thank you.
How do you see people on here?
There's
I
everybody.
like to see your faces. I like to see who I'm reading to. I don't need to look at myself. We all do that plenty, right? Okay, I want to read something that's kind of a background.
I'm peeking to see what you're going to read. Okay,
Oh.
go ahead.
Recently took a class with Mindy Nettifee, and one of my favorite books of hers is called Rise of the Trust Fall. It's a right bloody book. And the prompt was just, what do you believe in? And gosh, you know, during a pandemic, that's a big question. Anyway, I have to stand up for this. It's called, I don't have a good light here. Gotta make sure I can see it.
Mhm.
Trust Fall. And it starts with an epigraph from Mindy's book that says, no pressure. Really, we just thought you should know what you're capable of. Trust Fall. I believe you can blow a wish and expect a gentle landing. I believe in the power of joy and the joy of power. Well-used power. Like the unpolarizing of opposing systems, I believe in polarities and systems in training for strength. I believe in the light of the moon on a dark spring night. Can you feel the sudden drop in temperature, just like new vinyl? I believe in the eagles, the birds, earth, wind, and fire. I believe in music and miracles and a single mustard seed. I believe in God's ancestry, unwinged angels and fellowships that float, like that floats your boat that seeks to bind 2 beasting beauties together for purposeful delight. I believe in delight, in gaff, giddy, goofy, glorified delight, in too much kindness, sappy surrender into arms that will come round to catch you every time. I believe in circles and stones, snakes and marrow. I believe in running water, its aria and origins of sky, its molecular structure for hydration and dilution. I believe in a good, strong pot of steeping soup, a base of onion and garlic, a hunk of bone and flesh, most things fresh from the garden. Can't forget a few bay leaves and the story you tell before it simmers and the lullaby you sing after it's consumed. I believe in consummation, in making good on promises, consent pulls in your cells. I believe in a common good, the way lush, feeds oceans, feeds glaciers. I believe in questions, extended silence, and a vast collection of good words to be organized in notebooks for later use. I believe in recycling, revision, and remembered radiance in the mind's keen eye. Remember to remember what you will, and let the rest be deviled like a rich, rare, double-yolked egg, and never given helter-skelter to those who do not hunger, but spoon-fed the length of the temple, the strength of the planet on which we stand.
Full snaps. Unscheduled poem. The next time you have the falling dream, try to spread your arms like the letter Y. Not only will you land easier, you'll hang on to the picture longer. Your grandparents in their flying suits. When someone says they've had a bad day, tell them it's because Mercury is in Petrograd. When they correct you, say, no, it's actually the old name for St. Petersburg. When they walk away, be sure to shake your head. This is the time we did not agree upon for poetry. You remember, it was now. The last time we met like this, we were strangers. Not like today, the two of us intimate as books. Back then, you were all about anonymity, and I recall thinking that I was in the absence of true genius. This is much better. We should do whatever more often. When something vanishes, February, a voice, the wine, believe it has a heaven, because it does. Understand what makes it hard to see is time, and time is not distance. It is instance, which means it is always due. The first time is unknowable. Just accept it. Here are some other things to accept. Lambs, string, bruises, the number 10, a sister, nothing, different nothing. Here is a riddle. There is no death if you cooperate with death. Do not cooperate with death. Also, right now, this is the falling dream.
Woo! Janet, I feel like that poem should be dedicated to you, along with my last poem about the words in the notebook. Don't you? So familiar. You want to read another one, or shall I?
I'm going to do an awkward one.
Okay.
Am I allowed to swear?
I think so.
I never do it. It never happens in my poetry, and in this case, it's actually not happening in my poetry. It's happening in somebody else's poetry. This piece is a trifle hyperbolic, but it comes as the result of meeting an author one time. I don't know if this has ever happened to any of the teachers in the room, where somebody will say, you know, you really ought to share my work with your students. You really ought to take some of my poems and use them in your classroom. And this one guy did that, but he never bothered to ask what grade I was teaching at the time. So this is reading your poem in class for the man who said, I really should share his work with my students, but never asked what grade I teach. I think they got it. One boy, a 4-year-old named Max, wasn't sure why the speaker was so excited about drinking wine. Likewise, the heroin references stumped nearly all of them. Thankfully, Kenny, who's 5 and crazy about Hubert Selby, was able to explain such terms as junk, skag, and white nurse. Just glad it didn't fall. They also laughed at things I didn't think you'd intended. For instance, when the cops raided Heaven, my kids howled like sirens. And what struck me was they sounded exactly like police cars. One girl, Ginger, also 5, did a capable impression of a helicopter. I realize there isn't a helicopter in your poem, but the point is you got them thinking. When asked to interpret the line, "The gods were fucked up on cough syrup when they dreamt us," there was a huge debate. The result? Cherry is better than lemon. Lemon is for snitches and dead men.
I can't follow that.
Yes, you can. Yes,
I
you can. You're
cannot
absolutely
follow
close.
that.
Yes, you can.
This was a really bad idea because he's full of humor and I'm like, he's serious.
No, bring it. Bring it. Don't hide the madness. Break our hearts.
Oh Lord. Okay. My sister's here. I don't know if I should read this one. I always, when I have family in the room, I have to say there's truth in the beginning and then I just go crazy, right? So she knows exactly what I'm talking about. This is called Scarlet Billows Start to Spread. And it's a lot about our childhood, but it's also about LA and what it was like back then to me. Scarlet billows start to spread. I grew up learning how to eat properly at the Brown Derby, the Duck Press, and Pacific Dining Car. We'd sit next to the dance floor if there was one, the sound of a kitchen unpleasing to my father's ear. I learned how skin could crawl from my father. I grew up singing lounge music, making up for daddy's infractions at the Palladium after the war. He wanted to dance himself to death. Mother never broke a sweat. I grew up behaving with Duke and Josie at Dino's on the Strip. I drank Shirley Temples with my 3 perfect sisters in patent leather shoes, crinoline itching our elbows, grosgrain waistbands, cinching our smiles into place. I grew up cringing at Duke's lizard grin, frozen in time between verses of old Suki Tawdry and Miss Lottie Lenya. I was always waiting between sets for the shark with pearly teeth big. Huh, huh. Look out, old Mackie's back in town. Okay, I'll do one more. Okay.
But you're gonna close this, right?
Yeah.
Because I went first. Okay.
Is it good, Elena? He'll do 2 more and then I'll close it. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more in this part. This is called Serving Fresh Fish. I'm kind of too short for this place. I'm on my tiptoes. Didn't you say everyone looks younger on their tiptoes?
Everyone looks younger on tiptoes.
Do I look really young today? Thank you, Carmen. This is called Serving Fresh Fish, and this is an old poem, and this poem made me feel like a real poet because it was my first nomination for a pushcart. So, did you guys do that in school where you shined your fingernails? All right. Serving fresh fish. I am from spinning in circles and rolling down hills, from kickball in the cul-de-sac till streetlights come on. I am from ollie ollie oxen. I am from free falling down tree, climbing up when curd cuts through plaster, flies up brackish stairwells. I am from chill hid in basement, smell of damp earth, door unbolted above my head. I am from avocado fruit supped off thick black skins, held in the arms of the mother pear. I am from below sea level and just above the third eye. King Neptune was my invisible childhood friend. His staff in hand, we'd ride the tram from POP, get caught up with beatnik lesbians in tattoo galleries on the Strand. Grandmother didn't like it, not a bit. And it is not because of the way they dress, she said. I am from Bubby's Rules, junior lifeguards, keeping things safe, burying washed up jellyfish, picking up aluminum cans. I am from cleaning up for others. I am from waves rushing in and rinsing out, horizons glooming in the mist. I am from sun cuts through clouds, taking off layers, oil tinted with iodine. I am from transistor radios on blankets and sails beyond break rocks, waves meeting at the top of the berm, a havoc of ocean, foams between my toes, splashes up my thighs. I am from two fish flopping out of school. I am fresh from loving you.
Should I just do one more?
Whatever you think.
Just one more from me. As Stephen Rains mentioned, I did lose my father. He passed away on August 31st. And it really is kind of like a planet is missing and all the orbits have been thrown off. And I don't know, I don't really know my center of gravity anymore. The duration of an hour is different. The moon seems to weigh something else. Anyway, this is the first thing I've written out of that experience. And I know there's more coming. And I should be able to hold it together while I read this to you. But thank you very much for your kind attention. And thank you, Elena, for letting me share this evening. And thank you, Peggy, for asking me to join you. And okay, this is called Where to Begin. What language is it that has a word for the look shared by two people who own the same sadness and understand why it's lucky? It's an old language, like river stones, maybe the oldest, only spoken outside of cities, outside the hearing of glass. My father wanted to teach me Greek and tried a little, but needed more time than he thought for the vowels, the long sounds of longing. We got as far as goodbye, which is pretty good. But I swear there are people who can fit whole families into one syllable and still have breath left for a boat tied to the bank. I want to speak you in the eye, want to confirm the aching suspicion that the heart is much older than its bed, that it was full before it was ours. Surely someone knows how to say this faster. A whole civilization, maybe, an ocean or library away, who learned this word first. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Peggy Dobreer.
That's kind of a hard act to follow.
You got this. You got this.
Beautiful poem. Beautiful poem. So yeah, I wanted to read something from the book to finish. I'll read two pieces. This one is kind of an Easter poem. What you can't see, you can't see. Right between the hurrahs and the radios, out back by the whitewashed fence and the moon in Cancer, reflected in the ripples on the lake, sore losers and right well winners wait to ride a tower of giraffes, straining to see their feet through dark clouds scudding the hillside. If you listen closely, there is one true sound, like a baby laughing. It grips and loosens, comes like an avalanche of joy, like lovers gasping for a song. while the ice shelf melts or gets hung above the larder for spices and herbs. If a rabbit pulls your eyes out of the hat, you will witness multifacets of time, and preferences of the unseen will shift shape into life force. The existential Easter hunt is a long line from Sunday, and when we all come clear, the grass in the basket will stop its neon hue, nest eternity in its lyrical spear. No one will fake weep at this leaving. No one will squeeze the cat just to hear him cry. Thank you. And thank you very much, you guys. Thanks for coming and listening. And I can't wait to hear what you're going to read. Which one should I read? Somebody give me a page number. Anybody got a good page number?
14.
14. I like this poem. Thank you. The Glistening. I didn't know I loved the wide arms of the plum holding her fruit till plunging below late summer. I didn't know I loved the dull wooden fence that plated my secret cove. I didn't know I loved Chinatown at 3 a.m. Herbs and roots, fish eyes and steam, pungent in windows. I didn't know I loved the slender heads of Modigliani's women, their brains elongated by his keen sense of line. I didn't know I loved the ranunculus patch in front of the art museum, Shakespearean sonnets out on the avenues. I knew I loved the freedom, the presidio, and the most lovely heart made from the jawbone of a whale. And I knew I wouldn't be happy with anything less. So I rode cable cars when I needed redress, ate raw salmon at Fisherman's Wharf, oysters off tiles at Swan's, and chips drowned in vinegar on Polk Street. But who would have guessed I would come to love rain, walking till drenched in the keen emerald eye of the marina green.
Thank you. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Brendan. And now we're going to continue. You'll come back, of course, right? Let's continue with more music and then a whole bunch of creative, amazing poets to follow. So, Betty Chavez, please.
Wow, thank you, Peggy and Brendan. Just beautiful poetry.
Yeah, absolutely. This song is called Somewhere to Wait. She said, forget about the wires, forget about the machines, forget about the waiting rooms and the year-old magazine. Remember me as I first came to you. And if there's somewhere to wait, I'll be waiting for you. Nobody ever said that they love goodbye. No one wants to wake up alone in the morning light. But right now I need you to stand strong and tall and true. there's somewhere to wait, I'll be waiting for you. So go climb up a mountain, see what's on the other side. Take a year to feel lonely, take as long as you need to cry. There's no way around this, you're just gonna have to go through. And if there's somewhere to wait, I'll be waiting for you. Somewhere to wait, I hope there's somewhere to wait. I hope there's some other place. She said, forget about the wire, forget about the screen, forget about the victories and the hard times in between. Remember, you're the reason for everything I've tried to do. And if there's somewhere to wait, I'll be waiting for you. If there's somewhere to wait, I'll be waiting for you. And if there's somewhere to wait, I'll be waiting for you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, and you'll come back, please, right?
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
So let's continue. Elena, Karina, Byrne, are you ready?
Hello, everyone. Excuse my lack of appearance on the in real life. It's been a really tiring day. What a beautiful program. My gosh. And Elena, you always do such a great job with putting people together. Fantastic. So I'm just going to read one poem from my forthcoming book. It's coming out in October because this one is dedicated to Brendan. But Peggy, it should be dedicated to you as well. Because I was thinking about some of like what you said about your father, and I just was thinking about families, and so there's a little bit of that in this. My mother was wonderful, amazing painter and loving mother, but she also was constantly afraid of everything. So this is called Cloning Duchamp is Mathematics for Brendan Constantine. Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. Cloning Duchamp is mathematics, or pataphysics, is addition in the open playpen of gray matter, and is giving up your ghost on the chessboard. Bicycle wheels hang from trees. Heat is visible, a floating bruise over the garden. Two of everything me is there in a roomless room, my adult rear view stalker and mother's face, mine, the one I never asked for. After all, mother's fear labored her life mimicking my toy slinky, ribs accordion countdown on each stair. I'm the one girl in the unseasonably warm car about to be stolen. First ever to lose all my blood in the wrong backyard as 12 ladders stacked themselves between the neighbor's oil, sweat, and bonfire and my body. to breach the split season with colds. Favor the evil ice cream man in his singing truck that slowly rocks down our street, its tinkering bells suffering on your behalf. I make no sense to myself. My head won't vesper bitter mend straight lines because I worry too much that I've hurt someone's feelings. Opened the umbrella inside the closet one too many times. The umbrella prefers to be upside down, a lizard's hammock in the desert, with a which-way industry of free tumbling from the black boot jaw lock on this noir wind. Thank you, guys. Love you.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena. Okay. Now let's continue. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Peggy, do you have an idea?
An idea?
Yes. So who should do call next?
Oh, how about Ruthie? Are you going to read something, Ruthie?
I didn't bring anything. I'm here to listen and support everybody.
Well, think
Okay.
about it.
Here, how about Carmen Fott?
I'm so sorry. I'm just here to listen also.
No, that is so not fair. You are going to pay. Hanna Pachman.
Okay, I'll read something. Thank you. Okay. Such a great reading. Thank you so much for giving us that time. And it's so fun to see both of you together. Okay. Is it one poem or two poems? One? Okay. This poem is called When Will You? If I let my head go off into a blank space, does that mean I have no frame anymore? What if I put my head in a recycling bin until people are able to use me again? Any takers today for my succulent breasts or clicking wrists? How about you? Do you need me to answer the phone with your company's name? What about to say I love you? What if I throw my body against yours? What if I told you I could read your mind? Would you take me less seriously if I medicated, or more? What if you force me to smile throughout? If I bend my back upside down, will you see my conscious point dangling like a halo? When you hold my face down to the phone, when I can't read the sentence, will you tell me where I am? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I will tell you.
We'll tell you. Thank you. Well, let's welcome Lois P. Jones.
Oh, yeah.
I was also planning to be an audience member. Okay. I saw Peggy's expression. I'll read something. Okay, so
Read your award poem that just won that prize.
Elena says, read the, yes, the poem.
Okay, I was gonna read a something else, but I'll read that. Okay.
Or whatever.
All right. Sorry, I didn't have that just like plucked up there. Oh gosh, yeah, I can't do that.
While
one.
you're looking for it, can I just say how much fun it is to hear Simon and Cecilia again? Really, you guys sound so great on Zoom. It's totally amazing, and I love your lyrics. So I'm so glad you got to be here. I forgot to say that before.
Okay.
Did you find it, Lois?
I can't find it.
No,
I'm going to read something else.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm writing this collection based on the housekeeper that lived with Rilke for the last 6 years when he was at Museau before he died. So some of you already know that. So this is his housekeeper. She's on the train and she's coming to Museau to meet him for the first time. But I have two different versions, two completely different versions. Anyway, I'm going to read this one, which is a little newer. It's called A Cure, and it starts with an epigraph from her. It says, against all expectations, I, a young and inexperienced girl, was selected out of many applicants to keep house for the poet Rainer Maria Rilke at Museau. Frida Baumgartner, October 1921. And it starts with a line from Lisa Robertson. The sky is complicated and flawed, and we're up there in it, opening its letters, crossing its countries to clean someone's clouds, crossing mountains stacked with chanting, stacked with secrets, strange tongues that want to define us, strange tongues that refuse to taste us, as in tasting the last honey-dipped slice of apple on this train. Watch the sun spark rivers without faces. Watch my face disappear and reappear in the window, disappear like Borges and never return. He won't believe I read Borges. He won't believe I can attend to his silence. Silence is a letter you never open, a waiting. It's a ball of yarn knitting sky in a corner. What we want, we fashion the proper weather for our wanting what is made of what we cannot make ourselves. His blue eyes in the window. He makes what I want. I will fashion what he needs. I will make a cowbell of wishes. I will not ring it.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. And now let's hear Sally Stevens.
Oh, hi, Elena. Hi, everyone. I've enjoyed the beautiful poetry. I was going to ask you about reading a political poem, but I think I won't do that. This is a poem I wrote recently about someone who I lost, for Russ. You are gone. So much love you have left behind that I couldn't see till now. Why was it I kept looking away? There you were, your heart in your hands, love in your eyes. All through my life, I've seen love in places where it didn't exist. Maybe that's why I didn't recognize it when it actually showed up. Your eyes looked into mine today with such intensity, such love from your hospital bed. God damn, you said, I got to see you twice. And then your eyelids closed and the hour slipped away. You will see me again. We will have tomorrow and the next, if you can stay. If not, there's a huge piece of my heart that will be going with you. I never imagined this. It's hard to put words on paper when your heart is numb. I'm not sure there will be a tomorrow. I am numb. You are gone. Who can I call now when the weight of the day falls heavy on my shoulders? Who else would understand? I think of my father, of hearing his voice call out my name in the middle of the night from 1,000 miles away. Sally, will I, do you think, will I hear yours? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sally. Now let's hear Lee Beck.
Thank you. Nice to be here, back with you, Elena, everybody. Let's see here. torn. Well, I'm going to read this one first since we just heard this one. This is called Reminders of Life. Everything's so real, yet not so real. For a long time, she was dying. 5 years, then she died, right before my eyes. Not before she sat up on one knee, looked at me, gave me her characteristic brown-eyed wink with her right eye, dying and winking at me. She was ready, and she went. Not before I got there from downstairs, put my hand on her back, saved me her last breath.
Thank you. Thank you, Lee. We'll do another round, so please stick around if you can. Okay, let's have Nancy Murphy.
Hi, everybody. This is a really beautiful night of poetry and music. I'm going to read a piece. It's a little longer than my other ones, but it's, I don't think, too long to read. Well, here we are. Manual for handling a catastrophe during a pandemic. First, don't exaggerate. You are not the first person to get bad news. His heart needed repair. It had to be opened. This is not a love poem. Second, when he gets home from the hospital, drive to CVS every day for 9 days. Hold your breath when you're inside so you don't get COVID and bring it home. Because if he gets that, you can stop reading right now. Third, or is it fifth? Make a Post-it note that says good morning and draw a smiley face with curly hair. Sixth, put it next to the white coffee cup, the kind that usually goes with a saucer, which is a shape no one uses for coffee anymore. It's like coffee in the 50s in your kitchen with a neighbor. Seventh, there are no neighbors now. We can't talk to anyone outside our immediate house unless they're daughters, but they can't be here either. 12th night. Anyway, the coffee cup is for the handful of pink and white pills he has to take. Write that down. Fourth, define catastrophe. If you tiptoe in the night just to listen for proof of life, it's a catastrophe. If you see him from the hallway, asleep in the chair where he was bravely watching TV in the afternoon, and it suddenly makes you weep, it's a catastrophe. Fifth, don't tell everyone. It's boring. It makes you boring. It makes you like everyone else. Besides, everyone else has their own pandemic catastrophe, and I am not a good listener. Sixth, don't forget to bathe once in a while, but don't bother to wash your hair. It looks the same, clean or dirty. Seventh, no one is looking at you. 10th, don't hesitate to call. Hesitate to call. No one can help you anyway. Think of a friend or maybe a sister you can cry to on the phone, but you won't have time for that. 8th, don't think about the time before the catastrophe. Don't remember that you two were doing pretty well, considering. 9th, think about the day he handed you a piece of paper with the diagnosis. 15th, the paper was a map of our lives for the next 6 months. What it didn't say is if you would survive. 3rd, have some fun with this. Think of as many words as you can using the letters that spell caretaker. Taken carefully, taking in, taking on water, waiting to be taken, cared, couldn't care, wanted to not care, carefully taking off clothes, even socks, slow down. 18th, be careful there, carelessly taking care. 19th, afraid to care, afraid to stop caring, afraid to stop, afraid to. 20th, be afraid. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, let's move on. Jerry? Is Jerry still here? Okay. Maybe he just left. Sean, let's bend reality.
What is up, lovely people? Good to see you. Good to see you all. Yeah, I came here to just listen, but I just happen to have something to share. What? No, I was totally ready. And thank you again for always the lovely invites. And I think everyone, my gosh, y'all, everyone works so hard on your poetry, and I see it, I feel it. Gosh, like, yeah. And actually, I started writing just a little something inspired from all of you real quick. I'll just share that real quick before this piece. Afraid to go to the dentist. The threshold needs to be crossed. I believe in too much kindness and the number 10, so I guess that can make me overcome anything. If I have enough Shirley Temples to keep my temple clear, I know I will remind life to give me more reminders to truly live it to my last breath. And that's where I am on that piece. It was so fun to write like poetry inspired by everyone. So that was my little fun homage to you all, right? Good to see you, Pegs. Oh, good to see you. Yeah, so this piece, oh, is there a time limit, by the way? Is there a time limit on the open mic? I forget.
Well, no, we keep it short. We keep
Okay,
it
so
exciting.
I'll keep this super short and excited, man. All right. So yeah, everyone's favorite topic, racism. Yeah, still a thing, just in case any of you don't know. And I'd say my friendly disclaimer is that there's a lot more, there's a lot of white people in prison and get hurt by police brutality also, in case you don't know, and I know that, and I care about everyone in police brutality. All right, so here we go. I don't want to keep being right about the idea that so many of you don't care about Black life. You keep adding more or only to Black Lives Matter. You keep stuffing words in us like lies and police reports, like drugs into Black cities, like bullets into children. Please prove me wrong. I'm trying to be wrong. I want to be wrong so much. Show me that I'm wrong. I need to be wrong. If you are white, I love you. Don't confuse pain for hate. See all hate as pain. Relate, please. Just kindly prove me wrong with your actions, not just your words, with your compassion, not just your logic, with your humanity, not your politician, with your love, not your sympathy, with your honesty, not your shame, with your empathy, minus the blame, since somehow we keep dying because you say everything is in my mind, that America is fine, a few bad apples, even though those good cops who whistleblow are cast out as rotten. You say everything is all right, just some reform, just more body cams that they keep turning off, that they keep not wearing, that they keep recording us being murdered. I know not all cops are racist. I know we had a Black president. I know he was white too. I know about Black crime in Chicago. I know that's not the topic. Let's talk about you. I know white and all people get brutalized. I know that's true, but your heartfelt truths and your well-meaning lies, your constant race debates that always deflect, they are just another arm, another rope, another knee on my. So thanks for listening, y'all. Thanks for listening. And also that's from this brand new book called 2020, The Year That Changed America. And y'all, I didn't expect this, but Nikki Giovanni and a number of other artists are in this book, and they decided to lend their words to this book to push it out there more. So super humbled about that and super respected about this entire thing. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep in touch with all of y'all, and thank you for sharing all your work, all your poems. I did my best to listen to them as much as I'm doing other things in this Zoom life, but y'all are amazing. So much respect. Much love.
Okay. Thank you, Sean. Awesome. Okay, moving on. Ellyn, maybe, are you sharing anything?
Okay, thanks. You know what? I thought of reading. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, thank you. Hi. I thought of reading a poem I wrote in Prague because Peggy studied in Prague too, a little bit of different program, but I thought of doing that. So this poem's called Cinema Dance.
Oh, I love this poem.
Thank you. Cinema dance, cinema plus dance, invocation, fezzes, hot chocolate, UNESCO barrier reefs, unseen griffin, deer crossed with horse, a hybrid just like us. We come from all over the globe, shaken like a snow-crusted city in a medieval handstand. We gleefully take towns by storm with our merry prankster bus selves. 3.5 days of cameras, ping pong, and pivo. We compose a shot list from confetti. We are part speed of light, Jules and Jim at midnight. We resist the temptation to crawl into the world and pull our psyches over our heads. In a universe where dance ruled, we'd see fewer body bags. We are CinemaScope, chroma key with chromosomes. We are taking back the ozone layer that tries to stomp artists out and put them in tiny, flowery picket places. We go where others have gone and others will go. Van Gogh and Truffaut danced once. It's an everlasting dance. We are one tin can line away from the sky. We need our exuberance more than our math. We need to let our light shine. Cinema dance is the longest magic hour. Let us leave a bread trail. Our breadcrumbs are evident, feeding the soul of society's true hunger. Dobre hoot.
That's it?
I think so. You said read one poem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellyn.
It's so nice to hear everybody and see everybody. Thank you, guys.
Well, stick around, stick around. Thank you, Ellyn, really.
Sure will. Thank you.
Deborah Geffner, do you have something?
I will read a poem.
Please.
You could wash your hands as many times as you liked. Really? Anytime they were dirty, or if they got a little bit sticky, or even if you just got a smudge on them, you could turn on the faucet and water would come pouring out. Warm, cold, whatever you wanted. Water that you could drink. Anytime you wanted. Anytime. There were even videos on the internet. That's what they used to call the AIR before the government took it over. People would post videos of cats playing with water, running from the faucet into the sink for minutes at a time. It was a video of a cat who'd learned to flush a toilet, flushing it over and over and over. The police didn't come? No. It was all free, all free. If you had a drip, no one knew, no one cared. We used to have public drinking fountains. You could stop and get a drink at one just by pushing a button. How much did it cost? Nothing. Clean water? Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Clean water everywhere. Children used to play in it. Play in water? Yes, there were whole parks full of water and water slides and fake rivers and fake oceans with waves. And even at home, they would turn on the sprinklers on a hot day. That's what we called them, sprinklers, because they sprinkled water on the ground so we could grow grass. Why? To look pretty, to walk on. But even if the grass didn't need water, the children would turn on the sprinklers just to run through them and play. In the air where it could evaporate? Yes, and there were plastic kiddie pools we would fill up, and a thing called a slip and slide. It was a big plastic sheet, and you would turn the hose on it to make it slippery, and the children would run and flop on it and slide and laugh and laugh. You've seen the pictures of the Trevi statues in Rome. Didn't you wonder why they were in a big concrete circle? It was filled with water. Water cascading down the rocks. I had a big bowl in the house just for the dog to drink out of, filled with water. And I would pour it out and rinse it with clean water and fill it back up 2, maybe 3 times a day. Pour it out into the reclamation tank? No, down the drain. Gone forever. You could fill up a big pot from the faucet to make spaghetti and forget to turn the water off. And if it got too full, you would just pour it down the drain, like I told you. We had ponds in our backyards with fish and swimming pools. and we took baths in water. Sometimes we'd soak in a bath and then go in the shower just to rinse off. How often? Anytime we wanted. If we were hot or sweaty or cold or just wanted to relax. Did you have to fill out a rec form? No, I'm telling you, there were no forms. You turned on a tap. And if you wanted to leave it running the whole time you brushed your teeth, you did. You brushed your teeth with water? Yes. But that's immoral. We didn't know. We didn't think. It was everywhere. Big, fresh, cold glasses of it. What did it taste like? Like heaven.
Thank you, Deborah. Beautiful. Okay. Ken Scott.
Yes, yes. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
I have a piece. This piece is called I See Needles. I see needles in my face. They explode like mountains of misunderstanding, with parents breathing confusion through the naked ears of wooden children, though they do not float when drowned in defeat. Circles of reflection twist uncertain paths round about my fingers, and I am now an ocean of insects without purpose. They have become society drowning in itself. Needles become thorns of concentric mistrials in the tribunals of burning sands, and water tastes like dry dirt to those too complacent to stand. You think we breathe without pain. I see bones that stand upright. They are disagreement. They talk with winged insects, too drunk to speak, with sea breezes and moths, toiling to bear sunlight like needles of misdirection. They strangle like perfect little children carved from spiteful glares, inserting needles into pleasant apathy. It burns like sharp space. I twitch with the discomfort of pierced nakedness. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Okay. Bradley Bobs.
Okay, thank you. I have a story. It is a true story. I wrote this down just last Saturday on 9/11/2021. September 11th, 2001. I woke up about 6 a.m. as usual and went downstairs to exercise while watching TV. When I turned on the TV, the news was on. I was about to switch it to a videotape, but I hesitated because it was showing something so unusual. An amateur video showed a plane crashing into the World Trade Center. The video was taken from far away, so the plane was barely visible. You could hardly tell what size it was or anything. And the video was taken from the other side of the building, so we couldn't actually see the crash. I naturally assumed that the plane must be a tiny one-man plane because it was unimaginable that it would be anything bigger. I know it's all too common for such small planes to crash for one reason or another, but crashing into a skyscraper, now that's unusual. A genuine fluke accident. I was sad, of course, that the pilot had surely died, but these things happen. Flying a one-man plane is a risk. At least only one person died, I figured, since the plane was probably too small for any passengers, and maybe someone inside the building got injured if the plane broke a window. In any case, the death and injury toll must be a drop in the bucket compared to what happens on our highways every day. It never occurred to me that the event could be any worse than that. So I didn't watch anymore. I quickly switched to a videotape, exercised, and got ready to leave for work. My wife was just waking up, and as I said goodbye, I mentioned, "Oh, you might want to turn on the news. There's a really bizarre video, a plane crashing into the World Trade Center. Maybe they'll show it again." So I went to work, expecting to go to a meeting later with some out-of-state visitors, including 2 guys from our Washington, D.C. office, flying out to LA to meet with us. But when I arrived at work, there was a huge commotion, people watching the TV in the break room, everyone very upset. I soon learned that the little fluke accident that I thought I had seen was actually a major disaster. And among the many casualties, our 2 guys from the Washington office would not be making it to the meeting with us. Their plane had crashed into the Pentagon. They were young guys in their 20s or 30s. I knew them both, one fairly well, John Sammartino, the nicest guy. Just months earlier, his wife had given birth to their first child. We held an impromptu memorial for them. It was quite a traumatic day all around, but there would be more trauma, for me at least. When I arrived home that evening, my wife was at work as usual, and I dismissed the babysitter. It would be my responsibility, as usual, to give the kids dinner, run homeschooling for my share of the school subjects, and put the kids to bed while my wife worked. But this evening, something was wrong, very wrong, about the way the kids looked at me. "How could you do that, Daddy? How could you not care? All those people died and you thought it was no big deal." Apparently, my wife had let them know my reaction that morning before I realized what had actually happened, and convinced them that their father was a cold, heartless monster, and let them marinate in that thought all day. Thank you for that, dear devoted wife. It took a while for me to explain to them my misunderstanding and to convince them that I was not a cold, heartless monster. Anyway, I think I mostly convinced them. Mothers can have tremendous power over the impressionable minds of their young children. The trauma of that day has stayed with me. I thought about it especially each September 11th, in particular on the 10th anniversary, 9/11/2011. On that day, all day, the same song kept running through my head. I loved that song, but not because it was nice or pretty. I loved that song because it was so disturbing. It relates horrible events with such passion and power that it sent chills through me. And although the song never mentioned September 11th, it captured my emotions about it. That was the song that I wanted to have in my head all that day. September 11th fell on a Sunday that year, and that evening I went to the Poe Zone, a party where each of us would give a presentation. And there I saw the writer of that song, Bill Burnett, the first husband of my sweetheart, Susie Williams. And when Bill got up to give his presentation, I was so surprised to hear him sing that song, "We Shouldn't Have Gone Down That Way," the song that had been in my head all day. It was the perfect memorial. Thank you.
Thank you, Bradley. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, Dayna Lesley Hodges.
What a beautiful reading tonight. Okay, this one is called "I Thought the Fall Would Be Silent." Sorrow falls from my weeping eyelashes, like cymbals clanging, as they slip and stumble over the precipice. Rocks slipped beneath my feet as the foundation crumbled. Too many storms made the ground unstable. Rain washed away stability, eroded the ability to hold on, to keep from falling over the edge. Cymbal claps like thunder, harsh moments of percussive music, reverb my torrential tears. Clash of cymbals haunts. Blue notes in a stormy charcoal sky accompany my fall. Broken tambourine serenade. A sullen dirge renowned hurts my ears. It is strident, mocks my melancholic heart. I thought the fall would be silent. There is no parachute to quiet my sorrow. Cymbals and broken tambourines cry out loud as I wail in slow motion. That's all, thank you.
Thank you, Dayna. My muted. Thank you. And let's hear Marc Petrie.
Thank you. Mr. Constantine, I sort of sense what you're going through. I'm a teacher myself. I teach middle school kids, so if I have a personal trauma, I can't show it. It has to be, I have to stay totally fixated. So I can imagine the pain you're going through with your dad. And as I related to you, I had something happen to me this morning. So it's sort of fun that those things happen. But I also got to say, you two, what a beautiful, beautiful reading. And everyone tonight, I mean, my God, this has been such a wonderful night of poetry and music and love. So I'm going to read a poem called What Remains. I shouldn't have gone surfing that rainy day 30 years ago. Even then, runoff made conditions hazardous. That's how I got the abscess in my ear, the one that had to be lanced. The doctor used a razor-sharp scalpel. It could not be numbed. The pain ran through me, but I did not wince. Years of training taught me to go silent as stone when trauma struck. I sat in the car, then bawled like a baby with my head resting against the steering wheel as rain pelted the roof and windshield. Holding that pain inside hurt worse. That's how I feel teaching, acting normal. My sister called me at 7 a.m. The mortuary lost our father's ashes. He died at her home in Idaho 3 years ago. With COVID and all, the things going on, the stored ashes just fell through the cracks, and now nothing is all that is left.
Thank you, Marc. Thank you. Marie Lecrivain, are you reading? Okay.
Sure, if that's all right.
Absolutely. You were here first. Just about. Second.
Before I get onto a poem, I want to thank Peggy and Brendan and also the music group. I didn't realize how badly I needed to have some art and beauty until I heard all of you tonight. So thank you.
So good to see you, Marie.
And I bought your book, Peggy. I'm looking forward to reading it. Speaking of books, I have a book I just unearthed here that I wrote like 7 years ago, and I'm still waiting for my friend to publish it. It's called The Fourth Planet from the Sun, and it was part of a writing exercise I did with the non-binary review group, where we had to write 31 pieces in 31 days. And this is about the war god Ares being exiled to Mars. And most of the poems are all about loneliness, but one of these is kind of It's the less lonely one. It's called Ismenius Lacus. And the title comes from a part of Mars. Like if you take a look at the topography, all of the titles are in Greek or in Latin, and they refer back to the myth of Ares, which I thought was sort of interesting. So it says, I've always had to protect what is mine, and now I no longer care. I've cornered the market on prime real estate. I own millions of miles of a barren kingdom arrested by time. You can imagine life once existed here, that dragons once ruled this quarter. I can see their spines embedded deep within craters of sand and ice. What would happen if life engendered again? If water flowed through the ancient channels and cleansed these mighty beasts of death and obscurity? Oh, what this world would be if they awoke and took flight once more. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. Okay, Scott, Scott, are you reading? Yes. Scott Fitzfence? No? Okay. Eva West.
Actually, just listening tonight, Elena.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. It's great to have you. Kat Davis?
I heard Simon was going to read a poem.
Oh, yes. Simon.
So can you say something about Simon really quick? Do you mind?
I'm sorry,
Hello?
What did you say?
I was just going to say, you know, that Simon was one of 4 musicians that used to come out to the rap saloon all the time when I hosted. And, you know, he's such a poet. It's so great to get to hear him actually read a poem tonight. So I'm just really glad you guys could come.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Peggy, and thank you, Brendan. It's been incredible to listen to all these wonderful words. This is a poem called Sand Martins, and it's a pandemic poem too. Sand Martins. I was talking with my mum the other day on our weekly FaceTime lockdown chat about sand martins. They nest in the banks of a river that flows close to where she lives, burrowing into the little soil cliffs that meander through the grazing land to the north of the city. I've seen them here with her before, and although that was many years and miles away, today we are wandering again through the open fields in the lazy dusk, spires in the distance, hoping for kingfishers. I've been wanting to get back there, to the boy before. I know she sees him in me sometimes, a glimpse of untrammeled joy, a flash of gunshot blue streaking down river. It's been a long time. For so many years I dragged the shadow of myself through car park afternoons, spread atom thin across the globe in a bid to disappear completely. I'm still far away, but these days, when I feel that dark arc rising, I hear her say, there's nothing to forgive, just spires in the distance, wet grass underfoot, and riverbanks full of sand martins.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, have I missed anyone for the first round? Speak now, or? Okay.
Marlene's trying to go.
I'm sorry? Who wants to go?
I decided I have a couple that I could.
Okay.
This one's called Asphalt and Patchouli. Damn you, LA. I had to quit you. Like an intoxicating lover, I had to leave you before you abandoned me. Moth to light, I'd come, unable to resist the scent of asphalt and patchouli, dabbed along your throat and pulsating arteries. How I loved you, even more once I got close enough to sample your ocean of potential, to dwell along the river of your possibilities. But perhaps it was more about my potential, the possibilities of me shining like city lights or a silver star. LA, you never turned anyone away, never turned anything down for a buck, but I couldn't keep up the pace. In the wasteland where we let ourselves go, as the parasites, rats, and viruses surfaced, it got too hard to breathe through the mask as you were burning down, me burning down with you. On the smoky horizon, I couldn't see through the guise where you began and where I ended. Or was I the beginning and you the ending? Bright, like shiny, dreadful pennies, your funny dying eyes, the place I almost lost myself, the place I hung over you. Damn you, Los Angeles, I'd never be your queen of angels. I'm with a new lover now. Where is he? Oh, no more highs and lows. No crowns of glitz and glam, just dry, flat lands every day beneath a flawless azure sky. I sleep with stars that still shimmer, but they're not you, LA. I look back over the wall of mountains, across the fault line of demarcation, through the smog and the fog, through the settling angel's dust, where ecstasy shacks up with misery, lustful and restless as the mistress I once was, where you stand at the gate of angels near the shore, your light still flickering high. Out here in the desert, I still carry a torch. My heart still smolders for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruthie. Okay, anyone else? All right. Well, we've had one round. If we want to stick around and, do another round, you're more than welcome. But I know Peggy has to drive a long way, so we're going to continue with Peggy and the music, and then whoever wants to stay was just we'll have fun. So Peggy and Brendan, somebody's coming in at this hour. Ona?
We're going to read some more. I guess we're going to read some more, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that would be lovely. What's in a name? Peggy wasn't supposed to be my given name. They had chosen Paula, but Paula hung in. Everything changes under the rules of Judaism. Good is the word for Dobra in English. Gandon is my true name, or Hendon, or Hannon, depending on whose gate you spelled through at Ellis. Yeti is a concept made body, an obligation born of birthright. Don't just keep riding the rails into camp. Exact your existence from a single bowl. Entering America is an immigration from suffocation to lynching. Do you know the cast iron legacy you belong to? Or do you run, or whine from the other side? Be of no side. Read us your rights. Examine your privilege and exalt in your blessings. And remember, rewrite what might be erased. Re-mythologize every moment that disappoints, every itty bitty solemnic bug-eyed terror you meet. Shall I read one more?
I'm gonna riff on your subject.
Okay.
Anybody out there have one of those awkward conversations with your parents where they tell you what they were going to call you if you had been born a different gender, or perhaps, you know, okay. Yeah. Yeah, my mom told me, oh yeah, if you'd been a girl, we were gonna name you this. So this poem is called Nora. Yeah.
Thank God.
Nora. A book just told me that bird used to be brid. At some point in the 16th century, a sleepy monk copied it wrong, and here we are, unable to hear the brids, even with the windows open. That's how it feels, like the whole creature is gone. Maybe it's only a loss in the life of poetry. A poet is, above all, cursed with knowing there's no such thing as a synonym. House and home? No. Bloom and flower? Not even close. Love and devotion? Don't get me started. When my mother got pregnant, there was no way to tell the sex of a fetus. The doctor checked the heartbeat and guessed. For me, he guessed wrong and said, girl. Mom says she knew better, could feel a boy, but she played along and kept a girl's name handy. Nora. I don't know when she told me, but I was still young enough to be astonished my parents had ever lived without me. In my mind, I could see Nora, my age, my size, but a different face, one unlike my parents. Somewhere in a world aslant from this one which I saw as always just above my head and to the right. Nora sat on a set of swings, swaying slightly, making patterns in sand with her shoe. She wore a dress with ruffles. She wore boredom, sadness. She heard everything I said and could say it better. I'm not sure where I lost her. Maybe at school. It wasn't until I read about the Brids that I glimpsed her again. They've taken the swings down. The park is a different park. Nora has a wheelchair because she hardly used her legs. I don't know who bought her the coat, who helps her into it or brings her here to watch the other wrong children play in half-light, in the long lost music of the trees.
Gorgeous. I love that one.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandon.
So
Is that it?
Can I do one more?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, I'd already picked this one out. It's continuing on that theme of names. Thank you. This one comes from a prompt that came out of The Ugly Mug, which is one of my favorite readings. And it was to somehow use Medusa, and everybody came in with poems about Medusa. This is called Her Holiness of the Torch. It has an epigraph from Dolly Parton, which says, it costs a lot of money to look this cheap. Her Holiness of the Torch. Medusa de Dalai Lama has some big old sutras, Daddy, with spools of poisonous albino cobras for hair, a curling mass of steamy snow-bled snipers on her scalp. Draped in velvet robes, she takes her place on 14-karat cushions spun from the tossed jewels of greater gods and lesser goddesses. She seats herself on a raised pallet in perfect lotus posture. Standing in front of her, you might catch a glint off her golden panties if you hold real still and gaze slightly to the west with your deserving intact. Look how she sits so serene, fingers rested in mudras on her knee, her spirit sailing an unsalted sea from 9 to 5 with that wild mane of serpents spinning incantations, seeking next prey, entwining infantries on advance, while Medusa de Dali waits for a message under the weight of her white mane, lowers her register to sing once more, till it raises the hair on all our hopes. And I will always love you. Couldn't really sing it, but.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks.
Peggy. Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you all.
Well, I'd like to read one quick poem myself. Silk. I'm wearing all silk tonight, so I love silk. Silk is my second skin, caressing my body, warming my soul, cooling my senses. Silk is Ella Fitzgerald singing on a rainy day. Silk is the ocean's shimmer, the sunset sky of apricot, purple and blues. Silk is my mother's face, my daughter's touch, my son's gentle voice. Silk is my love's caress, the universe in which we are all cocoon. Silk is my second skin.
My first.
And now let's hear Simon Petty and Celia Chavez.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. They say, lucky at cards, unlucky in love. And if you're lucky with your heart, then you won't have 2 coins to rub out. And if I had a son, I'd say, when it all comes down in the end, my boy, we all think that love holds sway, but be lucky with your friend. Be lucky with your friend. Be lucky with your friend. God we used to trust, now no one believes anything, but your possessions will rust in the land of the blind with the one-eyed king. And if I had a son, I'd say, when it all comes down in the end, my boy, get on your knees and pray to be lucky with your friends like I was. Be lucky with your friends, be proud of them. Lucky with your friends. Guess I'm lucky at cards,
not always so lucky in love, but still beats my heart, still shine the many stars above. And if I had a son, I'd say, when it all comes down in the end, my boy, think what you think anyway, but be lucky with your friends like I was. Be lucky with your friends, be proud of them. Lucky with your friends.
Thanks,
Thank you for
everyone.
having us. It's been a beautiful evening. Thank you.
Thank you for all the poetry.
Is there something in the chat about their music?
Oh, Sally's going to repost the details of how to listen to our music. Thank you. PettyChavezmusic.com. Thanks.
Are you getting ready to close the evening, Elena? Can't hear you.
Anybody else would like to?
Did we have to sign up to read? Because I didn't sign up.
Would you like to read something?
It would be nice. Let me show self view. There we go. Hi. Yeah, something from your workshop, Peggy. Is that okay?
Yeah, I would love it.
Okay. I had the privilege in 2020, which helped save me, of participating in Peggy's unimaginably wonderful August Plums poetry workshop.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And so among the prompts, we had a style that we were working on called looping poems. And this was a work in progress, but I think it kind of is funny. So
and this one's going to be in the anthology.
This is Midnight Suppers. This isn't, I don't know if you, anyway, this is Midnight Suppers with Succubi and Sinuous Sylphs. So, okay, demons are maligned. And when I say that, I mean, they aren't given souls. That's description. That's a description, not a job description, but a description of a limit. And by that, I mean a restriction, a blot on some mythic scorecard that angels or other servants of the Most High keep on those with souls. But if hell's devil's staff are soulless, by which I mean literally without a soul, who's to know what that is, since being soulless isn't like having spurless cowboy boots or Gucci valise with vinyl and leather, or some other trendy trapping robbed of an ornament or missing an essential identifying element. Riding the path of destiny, blinders off, isn't only for those without a soul, since many did get souls, by which I mean an insubstantial substance that could be the navigation point for a human's moral compass. And when I say compass, I mean a way to see whether the path to understanding is really east of the sun or west of the moon. Yet some seem more soulless than either reigning demons or seductively sinuous succubi.
Thank you. Thank you, Kat. Okay. Anybody else would like to follow? Janet? Ruthie? Oh, okay. Marc?
No, I just want to thank you again for this wonderful night, but I do have one request.
Okay.
I'd like you to sing another song. And I got to be honest, I was unaware of how great a songwriter Charles Chaplin was until you sang a song by him last time around. So I don't know if you could grace us with another song by Mr. Chaplin.
I can sing that song again. I was actually going to start the evening with Cabaret. That is such a difficult song, and I think it requires to be in a live place. You know, I can't be singing that sitting down. So
yeah,
I will try the Charlie Chaplin song. Thank you.
Maybe other people will like. I don't know what other people think, but I love it.
Why is my heart so light? Why are the stars so bright? Why is the sky so blue? Since the hour I met you, flowers are smiling bright, smiling for our delight, smiling so tenderly for the world, you and me. I know why the world is smiling, smiling so tenderly. It hears the same old story through all eternity. Love, this is my song. Here is a song, a serenade for you. The world cannot be wrong if in this world there is you. I care not what the world may say. Without your love, there is no day. So love, this is my song. Here is a song, a serenade to you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you. I'm thinking, oh, was I muted?
No, you were there.
Thank you. But you stayed, and look at what troopers.
It was lovely.
Celia, do you have another song? Janet, I must say, you moved, and I thought, the second time you moved, I thought, what a great photo. I mean, it looks so real. But you were it.
It is real.
You are real, very real.
Elena, thank you very much for all of this.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. I think we're ready for another song, a closing song, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'd love to. We're not really ready, but we'll just do it. We just do it anyway. This one down.
Ready as ever.
Sorry, you guys. We started making dinner.
I was topping and tailing the runner beans.
So okay.
This is called The Valley of the Kings.
Rick, did you find the pills?
Oops.
Buried deep beneath the shifting sand, hoping for the sunlight to come in. I know you're aching to be found beneath the valley of the kings. Awake in the dark, lips almost parted, aching for your life to begin. As you draw me, pour on the wind, roll, roll, on the wind, roll, roll, the valley of the kings, roll, roll, on the wind, roll, roll. Valley of the kings, I would never dare to desecrate the holy wonders of your room. And legend holds there's no escape, the silent centuries in the gloom. And I know there's a curse that falls on the first man to ever lay eyes on your tomb. As you draw me in by the light of the moon. Row, row, the light of the moon. Row, row to the valley of the kings. Row, row by the light of the moon. Row, row to the valley of the kings. Someday I'll hold you to my chest, breathe in the centuries of sleep, as I lay me down to rest. I pray the Lord our souls to keep. Oh, the treasure I've longed for forever lies at your imperious feet. As you draw me in, tossed on the deep. Row, row, tossed on the deep. Row, row to the valley of the kings. Row, row, tossed on the deep. Row, row valley of the kings. Row, 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 to the valley of the kings. Row, 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 to the valley of the kings.
Yes.
The Valley of the Kings. Thank you so.
I think we need to unmute and give them some real love.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yay! That was some bad music. Will you send us the Elena so we can get the address?
The chat?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Okay.
If you send it to me, I'll send it to people who are here.
Okay.
That'd be amazing. Thank you.
Well,
That was
thank
just
you.
great.
Thank you, everyone. Really. Thank you and
Should we have
congratulations.
a dance party next time? Because I was really having trouble standing still.
Denny Terrio, Dance Fever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
This actually happened to us in Bath. We were having breakfast in this wonderful restaurant hotel, and you could hear a pin drop, except everybody, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all. I mean, like we just bursted laughter, it's like, my God, Monty Python totally. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
Brendan.
Elena.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Beautiful.
Love you all. Come again.